in the 21st century. Hard-working people working hard for you and me. Moving higher, time and time again. Through the years you'll find us here. Moving higher.
Hello and welcome to Moving Iron Podcast Markets with Chip Nellinger. This edition of the Moving Iron Podcast is brought to you by Dawson Tire and Wheel, your premier ag tire and wheel provider in North America. Also, Tractor Zoom, delivering insights, and the official work boot of the Moving Iron Podcast, Dry Shod Boots. Chip, man, I tell you what, there is no lack of stuff to talk about. The craziness, I feel like, has gotten to be a fever pitch, and I really think people are scrambling here. And the panic is growing, but there's a lot of things going on in the market. And, you know, we've got 2 days in a row now where the markets have both been up across the board, whether it's proteins or grains. The oil market's still in a complete shambles, but there's a bit of a silver lining here. So how things going and what do you see happening here, man?
Yeah, Casey, it is historic volatility in these markets. Like you said, I think it's just slowly dawning on everyone at various speed. You know what we're facing here. Some people are just finally getting it. Some people, have kind of seen this coming for 3 weeks now. And it's just, it's historic, unprecedented. There's nothing to go back on and say, well, in this year, when this happened, here's how the markets reacted. It's this, we're minute by minute in this thing. You get news stories out. So all that being said, we finally have, at least for the short run here, a little better feel in the grain and livestock markets. We did have some confirmation that China came in yesterday, purchased some corn, corn and wheat, and likely beans. We saw the sale of unknown in beans. That helped prop us up, put a little bit of floor underneath of us. They officially announced here this morning 756,000 tons of corn. That's about double what they thought. And just a ballpark estimate, that'd be somewhere around, upper 20, just shy of 30 million bushels probably, 340,000 tons of wheat, and then 110,000 tons of beans sold to unknown, likely China. Beans really shot higher on that news. And you had some other things out of South America that probably helped the bean market. You had a private firm out of Brazil come out with their crop estimate yesterday. It was about 3+ million metric tons below what the most recent USDA estimate was. That kind of shocked the market that, hey, maybe this crop isn't quite as big as what we thought. And then, what has always been one of the most reliable supply chains to China, Brazil and Argentina, suddenly looking a little bit shaky with this virus thing that's happening. Some port issues. They closed a couple crush plants in Argentina. That got the soy meal market fired up. And, here we are. We're, I don't know what we are, 30 cents off the lows in beans, probably more actually. Corn is 22, 23 cents off the lows here from 2 days ago. And I'm certainly not saying the all clear sign is here. Crude oil really is the anchor around the weight of the corn market right now. We've got some big issues there. That was a black swan in its own right, this spat between Saudi Arabia and Russia. And then you throw that right on top of this coronavirus thing. It's just a massive shock to the energy system across the world. And unfortunately, ethanol's caught in that too. So we've got some serious problems, in the energy sector right now, and specific to agriculture, the ethanol industry. There's plants that have, not taken corn. They don't even have bids out. They're slowing down their grind. They're talking about maybe going to a hot idle for a little while. I read this morning are losing 60 cents a bushel is the net negative margin for ethanol right now. So big issues out there, in this thing. But all that being said, we've stabilized. We've seen record surge in beef prices, close to the same thing in pork. Wheat has really shot higher as the world now tries to restock grocery shelves. Right, we've seen this big disruption and kind of panic, like you said. People, I don't know about hoarding food, but at least we're shifting it. Right, we're not going to be eating out at bars, restaurants like we used to. We're going to be eating at home for a long time, and we're stocking up, and the shelves are empty, and that is immediate demand right now. And you're seeing that with limit up yesterday in the cattle, and we just opened here as we speak. Limit up again, expanded limit up in cattle right now. So crazy volatility we're seeing.
Yeah, it's nuts, man. I tell you, I was in the grocery store the other day, and it was had a big sign in the hamburger section that said "out of hamburger till Friday or maybe Saturday," and it was it's just crazy. Now, to keep that in perspective, any other cut of meat that I wanted was there. If I wanted a porterhouse or a T-bone or a New York strip or whatever it was, they were all there. But the hamburger was clear out. Even another thing too about that, I was noticing like whole chickens and those kind of things. They were all low. Even turkeys. Typically turkeys are.
Well, you know what I noticed? I went to the store a couple days ago. Basically, like you said, out of hamburger, and it's just funny how the consumer, has changed, and but you go there, they had all the roast that you would want, Yeah. And I'm thinking to myself, if I'm concerned about feeding my family, dollar for dollar, we get about 15 pounds of roast, cook one up, put 2 in the freezer.
Yep.
Feed a family for 3 weeks on that thing.
Yep. That's why I was surprised there were so many turkeys still in the freezer. I mean, those things are, you get 8, 9, 10 pounds of meat out of one of those things. So
exactly
that's what I was kind of shocked. But I guess when you're used to doing one thing and you think, hey, we like to eat XYZ, and so I'll just buy a bunch of that. And,
for sure.
But I tell you what, if you had some frozen pizzas right now, I feel like you could make a few extra bucks on the black market there, man. Those things are flying off the shelf. But yeah, so it's nuts out there, man. I mean, I think that I was a little cautious yesterday looking at the export report when it came out of what the expectations were, and it was truly going to, I think yesterday kind of hinged on what we saw there, and as we've seen these reports come out this morning of what it was. So we're taking off, like you said. I think corn is up, last time I looked, to 7 1/4 or something like that for the day here so far, but it's 7 1/4. December's up 3.
Yeah, we're backing it off a little bit. We've had this big rally. The low in May corn 2 days ago, 332. We're trading 350 right now. The high today was 356 3/4. So, like I said, I'm not sure we're out of the woods yet, but at least we found value. We've got our prices down to where they're competitive in the world. Our beans got par with South America, and then they've got some logistical issues. And then our livestock markets really have snapped back nicely too. The cattle market is just insane. It's so caught up in the stock market, and the stock market at least has stabilized the last couple of days. That's helped relieve a little bit of pressure. But they're trading cash cattle this week anywhere from 110 to 113. A lot of it was in the 113 range. The low in April cattle, 91.07, 5 days ago. You think about that, we're trading, just call it 110 conservatively on the cash, and the futures are trading, low 90s. And now all of a sudden, you hit the nail on the head, right? You go to the store, I don't care if it's Walmart, Sam's Club, whatever local store you got, and there's nothing on the shelves, and we got to refill that. and that's good in the short run. I'm not so sure that's new demand necessarily. We may have a little bit of a hangover when this thing, 60 days down the road, if people are all stocked up on more than what they would have. But for the immediate time being, right now, for the next days and couple of weeks, there is massive demand there, and it's across the board. It's pork, beef, poultry. Think of all the bread, pasta, cereal that has flown off the shelves. The rice market, the wheat market has definitely helped with seeing some of this demand. And so it's historic times. It's unprecedented. We got to power through, and keep our right head about us, I think. But for the time being, boy, it looks a little scary out there. But ag has always pulled through, and it will again, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's one of those industries where people have to eat, so they're gonna produce. So I guess today we have the cattle and feed report. Do you think right now the box beef side of this business is going to be more impacted than you're going to see on the cattle and feed? Is that going? Where do you think the driver's coming from? Is it going to be? Yeah,
it's the immediate. It is the immediate box beef and demand issue. I think cattle on feed is going to take a back seat. Probably won't even matter. We're going to see some just weird spread activity. The immediate issue of our livestock industry right now is how do we get this box beef, and pork and poultry restocked on the shelves. I can't confirm it. Obviously, I'm not that high up in the food chain. There are a couple rumors I heard from a couple different people yesterday that Secretary Perdue had met with the United States packing industry and said, "Boys, let's not gouge this thing much, making historic record margins. Let's pass some of this through to the livestock producer right now. They're beat up, they're battered, particularly the hog guy. Let's share the wealth a little bit, so to speak." And I can see that happening because it is, getting to almost be price gouging, right? Where they're making $400 or $500 a head every animal that every carcass that moves through there on the beef side, and so point being, I think that this better cash trade could hold for a little bit if we can hold it together in the 110, 115, 118 range. That's going to really help. And the pork cutout has been screaming higher. That's going to help. But we still got to, keep our eye on the prize here, man. And if we get much of a rally, producers really need to consider some sort of protection against the downside, because I am not convinced that this thing isn't going to last a lot longer than what people think. And I'm not convinced that you've seen a low in the stock market, although we have bounced off the lows. And this thing could get uglier before it gets better.
I'll just take one more tweet or one news story or all hell's breaking loose in the streets type of thing. For this to go back the other way pretty violently. I mean, it seems like it likes to go down faster than it likes to come up. So it won't take much to get it to go the other way, I don't think. Yeah.
Yep. So we just have to dig in, and ag is used to that, right? That's literally the way everyone's grown up anyway. Not in crisis mode, but we get through it. I think ag in general has a little better, I'm not going to say work ethic, but a little better. They got a little straighter backs than the normal public right now, and they've got us through some tough times before, and we're going to have to pick the ball up and do some heavy lifting in here, and we are right now.
Yeah, and here we're coming into the heart of planting season. Corn, soybeans, all that stuff's right here, right now, and they're going to go out and plant the crop, and they're going to do what they need to do to make sure that happens. So, I guess my little thing here is, and hats off to the American farmer and rancher as we power through all this stuff, and with that, Chip, working on that plan is important. So, what's the best way to get a hold of you if they've got questions about that stuff, or if they've got just want to pick your brain about a few things?
Yeah, absolutely. Our office number is 309-550-7213. Even if you just want to, vent and get stuff off your chest, give us a call. We're all working from home. We've been, as part of our regulation as brokers, we have to have a disaster plan in place as it was. Our office phones roll over to our cell phone. We have full functionality with, market information, and, we're here to help. So, give us a call, 309-550-7213. We'd love to chat with you. I'd love to kind of see what's going on in your neck of the woods, even if it's, hey, how's planning coming along? How's field work happening? Give us a call if you need anything.
Right on. All right, folks. Well, I'm Casey Seymour with Moving Iron Podcast, and make sure you check out all of my social media on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Also, at Moving Iron LLC. Check out the website, movingironllc.com. And, it's crazy times out there right now, and just keep your head on your shoulders, folks, and you just make good decisions and think about what's going on. So, I guess with that, I'm Casey Seymour with Chip Nellinger. Let's go move some iron, folks. Out.
Moving higher in the 21st century. Hard-working people working hard for you and me. Moving higher, time and time again. Through the years you'll find us here. Moving higher.